So, dear Dhamma practitioners, this is our ongoing meditation session. So, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. And once we get connected with the network, we're ready to start the session for today. Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. And keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line, and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, we'll take a few minutes to understand how this practice can help us to have a very good, clear foundation for our spiritual practice. So when it comes to our life, there's one common thing that we all experience is always full with information that inside our mind is always have the voice, always ourselves we keep talking to us. So finding the gap and creating a silence is very important. And at the same time, in day-to-day life, if you look around, it is very difficult for us to find some kind of empty, silent space. So it is not that physically you escape from situations, but you have to develop a method or the art or the pattern to bring the silence to inside you. That is a skill. Shut down your inner conversation. This proliferation keep happening always. And always that 24/7 broadcasting system inside us related to the self-centered mind, we have to a little bit shut down it. And shutting down that is sometimes not that much easy. If you look very carefully, because we have deep addiction to that sound, our own voice, our own opinions, comparisons, ideas, imaginations. We sleep with that, we wake up with that, we live with that. So then, when it comes to sitting, practicing meditation, is a place for you to get out of that information and finding some kind of silence, empty space that you create inside you without any noise. So for that, how this inner noise happening? Because just by thinking, you can't get out of it. So then we have to see how this noise happen, from where it come, what is the beginning point. So when it comes to that, there are 4 kind of ways that you keep feeding yourself, and as a result of that, this inner voice comes. So when you slowly get out of this outside feeding system, intaking, and what will happen deeply, you start to create the inner silence. So for that, the very first thing, there are 4 kind of food: kabalinkara ahara, passahara, mano sanchetana, and vinyana. So edible food, that the food we eat through our mouth, that all the intake, and sense impressions with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. Always we collect information, and that is one thing. And the volition, the will, consciousness, the concern, and the desires. So that, and the 4th one is the consciousness, or that always have the feed with the thoughts to become as who you are. So those are the 4 ways that we keep feeding. And as a result of that, what happened? The inner voice going to become stronger. So one is the food we eat, edible food, kabalinkara ahara. And if you eat too much, if you eat too little, in both ways, the inner voice going to become strong. So then finding the balance is very necessary. It's kind of like developing a self-discipline, and at the same time, you have to remember, for each and every person, according to their body type, and healthy food mean it is totally different. So by time yourself with self-awareness, you have to understand what is healthy for you. You can't follow someone else's food. You can't follow someone else's meal plan, believing it is good for you. It's different person to person. So then look into yourself and see what is more comfortable for you. And it's kind of like you bring a self-awareness to yourself and see. And when you eat your food, at least after you eat, from 2 hours to 48 hours, You have to look your behavior. How? So within that 48 hours, if you go crazy, get mad, disappointed, sad, worry, maybe other reasons also part of it, but you have to bring your attention to your food and see. And change it in the very next day and see how your behavior, how your mind start to talk to yourself. So it is that you are itself means filled with a lot of things. There is no such a thing called you. That is what you have to clearly understand. As example, just imagine if there were not your grandparents, your parents, just imagine there is no, that your mother didn't come to this world, then you are not going to be here. If your father was not here, then how are you going to be here like this? So that's mean what? You are kind of like a result from somebody. And something, and there are a lot of things, as example, heat. That how about if you take out the heat from you? Can your life happen? Just imagine when someone dies, the very first thing what will happen, the heat going to go away from your body. And the body becomes so cold. If a suddenly died person, if you touch their body, you feel no heat. When there's no heat, that's mean, no life force. So the heat represents the sun. Look at this entire world. With all the trees, these plants, all the food circle, the animal, it's everyone depending from sun. So how about if the heat take out of the body, we create a machine and suck all the heat from your body, you can't live. So then you are part of the heat. And how about the water? So if you don't have water for a few days, you die, you know that. So that the water means part of your life. Then even in the entire universe, that all this NASA and other lot of scientists look for water. Why? Because if there is water, there is life. So then when you have your life, mean what? You belong to water. Out of 4 elements, that the one element. You come from there. You can't escape from it. You can't say no to that. But in day-to-day life, we don't think that way. We think, oh, this is my life. I am the boss. I am the one. That's how we think. Just see that even just understanding yourself without going to any kind of meditation, just reflecting on these 4 elements and all other things, and bring some kind of wisdom to yourself to know this, how this becoming happens. And motion, the air. See that if we don't have the air, how our life going to happen like this? So just imagine we put a machine and take out all the air from your body. All these organs start to die. And as you know that this past 1.5 years, when people got the COVID, it all the blocks this inside lungs, and then they put ventilator and put the machines and give the oxygen. Yeah, it's helped to maintain this inside organs. So then what is your life mean? You may bring your identity, your name, your gender, but you're not going to bring it as, oh, I am air, I am water, I am heat. You're not going to bring it. You can't do it in this very conventional life. But just remember, behind that identity, what you carry. Just know that yourself. And the hardness, the earth, without this hardness, we can't have a life. Just imagine that this all the bones, the muscles, veins, that everything needs some kind of hardness, even the blood. It's kind of like if it doesn't have that some kind of thickness, you can't. If there are some kind of blood cancer, like leukemia, it kill the thickness of the blood. So then what happens? So that this hardness is very necessary for you. Then you are means itself. You depend from this hardness. So how about if you put a machine and take out all the hardness from your body, what will happen to you? You start to go like, feathers moving here and there. But we don't think that way. But when you go to the depth, when you go to the very ultimacy, so the fundamental, then you recognize. So like that. And it's all the four elements, and come another thing is the space. Look at yourself, that always you interfere with the space. Without a space, your life not going to happen. Even in the mother's womb, when you come to this world, it should be available. In any situation, in case that before you come here, if somebody else come to your mother's womb, then what happens? It's not available for you. And even before you go, as you know, this another sperm jump into the mother's womb. What happened to you? You are out of the scene. You can't be here like this. So the space, and you always interfering, and everywhere, for everything you look for the space. It's unconsciously, deeply, silently it happens. So tapping to that deeper is gaining the wisdom. And when you slowly start to shut down this inner busyness or the inner voice, what happens? You are capable to get into that deeper, the mechanism. With this inner voice, with this inner, the busy, blah, 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 the signal jam, information jam, you can't get into that deeper. So that's why you need to create some kind of silence space. Why? Because this all ultimacy, that all these fundamental qualities that happening in very silent way. Look at that all the air, all the heat, and all the strength, that all the water, it doesn't make any noise. And even you in the space that you interpret, you don't know even it's happening there. It's deeply, silently happening. So when you are busy with this inside voice, you can't get access to that. So once you have this inner silence, once your mind slow down and become little bit calm down, what happens? Slowly you are capable to tune, and you are capable to harness, you are capable to synchronize with that deeper, this silence creation. It's a different way of understanding, it's a different way of tuning, it's a different frequency. So getting to that, we go in this way, and slowly we have to little by little minimize this outside information we take, this intake information. So one is this, the food, edible food, the food we eat. And without food, also you can't tune to that frequency. And eating too much food, also you can't. And eating wrong food, also you can't. So then, look into yourself and look into your environment. Naturally, the very best food for you, the very healthy food for you is whatever the birthplace that you born in that environment, whatever the fruits and the vegetable that grown, that is the best for you. But sometimes when we migrate, we don't have that facilities like that. So I'm from Sri Lanka, and in Sri Lanka, whatever the food that in my village area, whatever the food and the vegetable grow, I can't eat here maybe. So then I have to slowly look into myself and see how my body behave when I eat something. And that way you can find some kind of similar things. And maybe not the similar things, sometimes you can mix two things and get the some kind of good result out of vegetable, fruits, or that kind of things. And if you're born in California, that all the berries and all this orange and apple, that kind of things good for you. But that doesn't mean for each and every person it is good. Maybe if somebody else come from Iran like that, pomegranate is a good fruit for that person. And from the Middle East countries, date, that kind of fruit, it's good for that person. But that doesn't mean it's good for anybody. So then you have to tune to yourself and always look. But somehow, once a while, always remember to create a little gap, create a little gap. And that gap is kind of like after one meal, 36 hours. If you can do that, after one meal, if you create a 36 hours and get into the next meal, and that way you create some kind of that comfort deeper in you, not for every day, at least like once a week like that. Or maybe you can eat like after 16 hours. It's kind of like one meal per day. You can start that way. After 16 hours you eat. Every 16 hours you take a meal. And then at the same time you don't eat before you sleep. And mostly kind of like before 4 o'clock, if you can eat in any age, it is good for you. Those are scientifically also proven, and but it's still yourself, you have to look into yourself and see. It is a science. The food that you intake, create, it help for your lifestyle, it help for your wisdom. And also remember one thing, the food you eat can make you crazy. That is what you have to sometimes understand. Sometimes people behave like very crazy. And then we go and we try to fight with that person. Maybe it is not that person, that the food that person ate. So then you have to look into that and see. And some days when you practice meditation, maybe very lethargic and you can't do it. And maybe then you keep struggling yourself. It is not just it is the food that you ate. So like that, you have to look into the food that you take. Because it becomes your life. And the next one is, and so do a little experiment yourself and find your own healthy meal plan for yourself, and don't go crazy. And then the next one is the the information we collect through our senses, what you see, what you hear, smell, taste, feel, sense impressions, that also kind of like food. That's how you feed to yourself. So then be very careful what you watch. Even though you don't care about it, it becomes your life the very next day. What you hear. And if you keep always hearing, by the time it becomes your life. And what you smell, by the time it becomes your life. And what you eat, it becomes your life. And what you feel, that the people around you, that whoever the people you associate, maybe they become like you or you become like them. So you have to be very careful. And the emotional stagnation, that we mostly, their emotions can transform to us. So then sometimes, if you close to the unnecessary people, what will happen in your life? So that's your life doesn't mean it is an independent, concrete, unchangeable existence. It's always get the help out of things. That's what you have to understand. So then, but still you have a choice. So then take a very conscious choice. When you see something, remember, just look into yourself and say, this is worthless for me, and it is unprofitable for me. And for tomorrow, it's going to take me to different kind of situation or the trouble. So change the channel, change the program, and watch something else. And then whatever you hear, and so try to change it. And whatever the smell, and even the people, it is very necessary. No? And once we get that, that is where most of our life become unprofitable, because we go with the wrong people. You know, unnecessary, we get into unnecessary situation. Most of the people in the prison, why they went there? Most of people, you know, get into the drugs or the alcohol. Even most of people, whoever, in the spiritual path, because of the good people or the right people. So like that, this both side, right and wrong, the both side you have to recognize. So which part you have to take. And the volition. So the will, or the what you concern, or the desires, we always in our mind. So that also create a noise inside us. So if you have some kind of will, the strong desires go towards unprofitable way, and that busyness you can't take out of from your mind. So then look into that yourself and see where are you heading, and what you dreaming inside, what you asking inside you. As a result of that, this inner voice can go crazy or louder. So then if you change the direction of your will or the desire or what you concern, so what happens? Deeply, this inner silence you gain. So the very basic method is, when your will or the desire or when you are concerned regarding the greed, hatred, and the delusion or envy, always you're going to have the fear, you're going to have the very loud noise inside you. And the next one is the consciousness. That always, that becoming, the feeding with thoughts, the whole person as who you are, representing your self-centered view. And you have to look into that and see. If you always trying to become, look for something. And then that, as a result of that, this inner voice going to become so loud. So that's why with the meditation, we come to the point to settle down. And that's why we close our eyes and find a very silent place as much as you can. And that's why we don't use any kind of sound or kind of things, and you completely settle down. So at least when it comes to the posture, you're giving opportunity for yourself to void from this all the food that you keep feeding to inside you. This kind of like a nutritions that we always very silently take. It's kind of like the same thing with the kind of like the elements. It's very silently feed you. So now you slowly start to shut down it little by little. And as a result of that, you are capable to slowly go deeper and tune to this inner mechanism. So that is where you recognize that each and every moment happening as a result of cause and effect. And itself, it's not bound to something. And it itself, it start to change. So once you know that within your own thoughts, within your own body, within your own mind, this cravingness disappear. Though as a result of this inner cravingness disappearance, what happens? The desire to eat from outside going to become calm down. So that way, you're not going to look for too much food. See, now you reverse the energy. So when the inner silence happens, you know that there's no hunger that much. With little food you can survive. It's enough for you. And then what happened to your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and through practicing yoga also sometimes you gain this, and your eyes not look for that much kind of like a very luminous pictures or the colors. You always like to see very calm, relaxed colors. So that is where you more tuned to the nature. And that's where you slowly get out of these machines, because you don't want to look that much. You don't feel to look that much. And that is where you slowly into little bit more silence. You get out of this busy, high volume voice. See that it comes from inside. And that is where you become very calm, relaxed, and silence, and you always capable to handle yourself. You don't look for people to depend from them. You don't look for always to chat with somebody. You don't look always to touch someone or kind of like hug someone or always gathering. You don't look for that. You feel to be just by yourself. That is where you feel comfortable. That comfort come out of when you have inner silence. Another thing is that within your inside, that your will, your desire, the concern, that what you concern, things going to become slow down. It's kind of like when things happen, you just accept it. And you don't care that much. The very reason, even you care when things happen, it happens. So now you start to get into something. You know, because in our life, you know better than me sometimes. It doesn't matter how much you care about even other people. They do whatever they want. they're not going to do what we want. We also the same. We don't care that what other people think about us. We do what we want. That's the very realistic life when it comes to our ordinary life. So once you understand it, you don't worry about other people that much, because they do whatever they want end of the day. And the things sometimes happen. And maybe, of course, if there is something that you can do, you do. But there are sometimes things happen. We can't do anything. So once you understand, you little bit back up. And in the deeper inside you, that what you concern and going to slow down and disappear from that. And you're not going to bother about it. You're not going to worry about it. So that way that your inner will, the desire, going to slow down, calm down. That calmness bring the inner silence to yourself. So that way, if you are capable to do that things, and then that becoming nature, and even yourself, by the time what happens, you don't look for to become, and you don't always go here and there and make plan and all 24/7 dreaming, imagination, and regarding the future. No, you just settle down with your life, so that that help for you to settle down with your consciousness. See that this busyness happen as a reason. That reason is that what we feed from outside. So without stopping that, don't try to stop this inner voice. So then what you need to do, start to work with this for nourishment. And then find out good meal plan, all the intake, and keep the balance. And once a while, if you can, follow the 16 hours meal, 1 meal per day, and then 36 hours. And then so kind of like keep a circle. And if you really feel hungry, then you have to eat something. But if you don't hungry, and at least try to not to eat. And all these unnecessary fruits and nuts and the cookies, so that kind of things, and slow down, and you will see this inner craziness slowly disappear. It's kind of like a clouds go away, your mind become more calm. And then the other thing is all the information that we take with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and then slowly and try to minimize it little by little. That doesn't mean you stay away from that, but select whatever the things that you want, and then other unnecessary things, get out of that. And the origin that the when you have free times and all this will, the concern, the desires, and don't go with that much, and try to settle down. That's your meditation, reading books, or working with the garden, and doing exercise. This kind of things also will help in a certain level to bring your mind to the moment and settle down with that. And the becoming, and don't look for the too much towards the future, and don't make too much plan regarding to become. So that kind of way, and settle down with that. So then that will help you to bring down this inner craziness, inner voice. And once you have that deeper silence, and again it go backward and slowly drop down your intake food, and sensual pleasures, and slowly you become very calm, relaxed. So that's way. Now you understand, when you become a monk or when you go to the monastery, when you start to become kind of like a yogi, so how that person naturally start to tune to this kind of lifestyle. It is not by always thinking and you hold the mind and kind of like, no, it's an inner mechanism. So try to understand it again and again yourself, and then slowly apply it to your life, and then you will see how it works. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. Your right palm on your left, neck head straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line. Now scan head to toes and say Supat Veva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. And take a moment and think, we gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable, may my breath be more smooth, may no difficulties come to me, may all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalations and exhalations. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself, and do nothing extra. Bring my attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also as far as you can through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside. To your left side. And to your right side. Downward. And upward. To all 6 directions at once. Like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata cha ammi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya Dhamma Nudhamma Patipattiya Buddham Pujemi Dhammam Pujemi Sangham Pujemi Attaya Imaya Patipattiya Jati Jara Vyadi Maranam Ha Paribunjisami Idamme Punya Kammang Asavakkaya Vahang Hotu Sabba Dukkha Pamunchatu. Bless.